Hey guys, it's Moody here, and I've got an overview match here. Match. I can't talk because I can't in almost every video. I wanted to say that I do feel better than the last video, and things have been looking up. And I wanted to thank every one of you that offered any kind of support, whether it was moral or like financial, through this whole thing. I really do want to thank you for all that. And I guess I'm just gonna get into the match. I have a match against Sork, and I had it with randomly on the Zat that I go on, and I do use a sand team. I'm still thinking about, slowly maybe transferring onto black and white too, but I'm not there yet. I have to salve pokes and whatnot, and I haven't really been all into it with the new stuff that was released, because it was kind of all released at one time, so I'm kind of not sure if I want to jump into that just yet. So I do lead off with my Tyranitar. He leads off with his Scissor. I think I was expecting him to not lead off with the Scissor, lead off with his Politoed rather, in order to get his rain up, but I suppose he predicted that, and I kind of thought he might have been going for the super power here, and since I have a Choppleberry, I thought, I guess, I might live it and kill it with a Fire Blast, but we all make mistakes, so I think that was mine in this match. I really definitely should have tried to have my Tyranitar saved a bit better, because look, I'm left at 8 hit points, and as soon as he gets a Brox, if he does, I don't quite remember then, that's gonna be the end of my Tyranitar, really. And I really did a horrible job at trying to have my weather be the prevalent weather in this match, so right off the bat, but we all make mistakes. He goes into his Gliscor. I did go into my Mew because my Mew is physically defensive wall, and he goes into his Deoxys, so I'm not sure what I was thinking I was gonna do. He goes into his Deoxys D, so I'm assuming he's gonna want to dual screens or set up rocks, something along those lines, because that's what they tend to do. They also usually carry I think they carry some sort of status moves. I know they can do that. Because he's physically defensive, the U-turn really isn't going to do a lot. However, at this point, I'm still trying to bluff the Scarf or Band, because I don't take any residual damage from Life Orb, so I'm hoping over some time he might think I'm actually Scarfed, based on the damage that I'm doing. I'm not entirely sure. So I went into my Heatran thinking, okay, let's attack from the special side, and I predicted him to switch. That's why I went for the Earth Power instead of the Fire Blast, because I knew he had Politoed, so why go for the obvious Fire Blast? I was expecting Politoed to come in, honestly, because it felt like a good opportunity for him to get in his weather and have that prevail, but instead he stays in. See, I think if I went for the Fire Blast first off, I probably would have killed him instead of having him set up spikes, because now that he's got that one layer of spikes up, it's gonna mean that my Tyranitar is definitely gonna go down once it switches in. So I basically lost the weather war there, unfortunately, and here I just go for the Dragon Pulse, just for shits, because I knew it would kill at that point, and just in case he wanted to switch in another Pokemon. So here's where he brings in Politoed, and I'm not gonna have anything that I could deal, I guess, much damage except for Shaman, so I really do need to keep Shaman alive, especially since I lost the weather war. I'm not sure what kind of set this is yet, but I assume since he switched out, he is probably choice in some way. They usually carry a choice Scarf or Specs, and it's probably one of those. So he goes into Dragonite. I think I went for the obvious move here, and now I'm going to switch out. I was predicting Outrage, I guess. That's why I went into my Heatran. I do take some spikes damage. Unfortunately, he goes for Dragon Dance, and it's gonna suck if I won't find a way to take him out. Currently, I think the only way I have to deal with him right now is Dragon Pulse, and he carries Aqua Tail, which, to be honest, I did not expect, because I'm used to Dragonite carrying basically Dragon move Outrage. Sometimes Dragon Claw, usually Fire move, but since he's running a Rain team, it's probably not the option. But I do go into my Terrakion, and I get off a stone edge, and this is where he's gonna find out that I'm obviously scarfed. So I'm thinking maybe he's gonna catch on to the fact that my Landris probably is not choiced at this point. I don't know. So I go into my Tyranitar basically as fodder, just to see what he's gonna lock himself into, because I figure he's banded and he's gonna go for the U-turn. So I did go into my Landris because that's the best option for me. He's not going to want to stay in because I can just hit him with Earthquake, and he's not going to be doing much if he wanted to stay in and U-turn. So best option for him was to switch out. So I did go for the Hidden Power Ice. This is where I thought, okay, he's going to stay in, thinking I don't have the Hidden Power Ice, and I don't even get the KO. But see, at least I bluffed the choice item for long enough to where at least I can almost get rid of this Gliscor, so I'm glad that I had that opportunity. The only other thing that was really unfortunate about me being so careless with my Tyranitar is the fact that I really won't be able to get up my Stealth Rock at all, and that's where it becomes a pain, because if I did have my rocks up, that Gliscor would have been dead there. It's really unfortunate, but you know, I can manage, I guess. This is why you have to realize that you do need rocks sometimes, because it can really net you these really crucial kills at some point. So here it's a really stalling match. I could have gone for the Will-O-Wisp, but I guess I was thinking it was more important for me to try and gain back health, because I'd be gaining health more than he was doing damage to me, so that was okay. I went for the Will-O-Wisp there just in case he decided to stay in. Unfortunately, goes into his Gliscor, and this is where, you know, I kind of wish that, okay, I had rocks up, because he would have died. And now the fact that he gets to create a substitute also becomes a pain in the ass. But I do know that his Poison Heal won't be healing him enough to where he can create substitutes and just stall me out, I guess, because eventually, especially right now, he's going to have to attack me, and since I'm defensive, he's not really going to be doing much to me. I was thinking maybe he's going to want to switch out again, so I went for the Will-O-Wisp, projecting the Scizor, because if I went for Psychic, he can safely switch in Scizor and U-turn if he wanted to, so that didn't work out. But either way, I think he can set up one more sub now, which is really, it's really stally. I am so sorry, guys. It gets really stally. I think this is a 39 turn match. So I do go for the Psychic here. Barely take him out once again. It would have been a lot less stally if I had my rocks up in the first place. So apologies for that. He keeps going for Earthquake. There's no point in stalling me out, because I'm probably obviously going to win whatever stall thing we've got going on here. So I also really want to keep my Mew alive, just to be able to get a Will-O-Wisp off on the Scizor eventually. So he goes into Politoed. I predicted him to go for the water move, because he's in the rain. He'd do a nice bit of damage. So I go into my Shaman predicting that, which is good prediction, but it's also like I know he's choiced just based on the fact that he keeps switching out and he's not changing his moves up. So this is where I know that I also have to be wary of him going for an Ice Beam at one point and actually predicting me. This is where I go for the Hidden Power. I'm like, okay, I predicted him to switch out here, so I went for the Hidden Power. I think I carry Fire, but he switches out this turn, and this is where I go for the Seed Flare. So there are a lot of mind games going on here, and it's quite a nuisance, really. But he goes into his Scizor now, goes back into Politoed. I go for the Hidden Power. I thought he might just want to Bullet Punch me and stay in, but that's not the case, because I don't think that a Hidden Power Fire would take him out, because he's in the rain anyway, so that's just my opinion. I go into my Mew predicting the Ice Beam this time, and I'm taking some Spikes damage along the way, which is fairly annoying. One more Ice Beam is not going to be enough to kill me, so that's going to give me the option here to roost off the damage, roost, recover, whatever you guys prefer on Mew. I mean Soft Boiled, sorry. So I gained back my health, which is always fantastic, and since he's locked into Ice Beam, it's not a very, very favorable option for him. He's going to switch out, and I feel pretty safe now because I'm going to have a Mew at almost full health, and this is where I did predict him to switch, but it misses, so I'm kind of weary about going for it again, but I figured, okay, if I get a Will-O-Wisp off on the Politoed, at least he'll be wearing it down, so that works out for me as well. I think he's only got 2 Pokemon left at this point. He's got the Politoed left and the Scizor left, and he's playing so many mind games with me. It's quite annoying. So he goes for the Hydro Pump this time. Honestly, my Mew isn't that useful to me anymore. Now that I've crippled his Scizor, I feel a bit more safe. So I go into my Shaman knowing I'm going to get switch in safely. I feel like I maybe should have gone for like rest, gain back health if I wanted to, or actually just predicted the switch, but it happens. At this point, he's really stalling out my Seed Flares. I'm pretty sure at some point I actually run out of Seed Flares, so I can't really do much. And here I decide to go for Seed Flare again, thinking maybe he's going to want to switch, but he doesn't, and I'm just like, ugh, why is this happening? So he goes to U-turn, and it's going to take me out. I'm okay with that, even though I'm really not, because I think this was the only thing I had that could have done super effective damage to Politoed. However, now I know that his Politoed is going to come in, and based on the damage that it's been doing, I think he's Scarfed, so my best option is to go back into Terrakion, because I'm Scarfed, so I'll obviously outspeed him. The best move I can go for is Close Combat. I really didn't want to go for like Stone Edge and bank on a crit or something, so I just went for Close Combat. And he's going to go straight for the Hydro Pump because it's honestly his best option right now that my Shaman's gone. So it's unfortunately with the drop that I had, it's going to take me out, and as sad as it is, I'm going to have to let Terrakion go. And I do have Landorus left, and he got a miss with Hydro Pump. I think it would have killed in the rain. It probably would have killed, and I think that probably would have been game for him right there, unless I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I have any other Pokemon left, but this was a really, really close match. His Bullet Punch isn't going to do a lot to me at all because he's burnt now, and I'm going to lay down the final attack with an Earthquake. And I'm sorry guys, this is a very long match. You get to hear me talk for like 10 minutes, but there was a lot of stall and a lot of predicting going on, so I thought it was a fairly decent match. And hopefully soon you'll see me post Black and White 2 stuff if you're interested in that. I'm currently like looking into possibilities for Little Cup Pokemon getting some nice boosts or whatnot, so you can look out for that, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.